Hi everyone, welcome to another blessed edition of Faith and Spiritual Fitness. Today we're about to talk about the Spirit. What is a spirit? Who is a spirit? Now, the definition of a spirit is the innermost nature of a man. It's the nature that gives a man life. The spirit is neither dead or alive, disregarding the active life of the soul and of the physical flesh. You see, the human spirit was damaged when Adam sinned. So when your spirit is damaged, you cannot communicate with God because God is a spirit. Spiritual growth is like the growth of a newborn baby that has to go through several stages before coming to adulthood. Your spirit is the same way. It begins like a baby with no knowledge. It has no knowledge on how to function or work. You must train and educate your spirit in the things of God, in spiritual attributes, so that you can be able to grow in the spirit and be able to fellowship with spiritual characters and spiritual matters. Eternal life is in your spirit. Yes, eternal life. It's not in your physical body. It's a consciousness from your spirit that has an effect on your body. So when you receive eternal life, it's embedded in your spirit, not your body. You need to make a premium of developing your spirit to be able to manifest physically the same way God does. Remember that you are primarily a spirit being. You are not a physical social body. Man is a spirit being, not a body. The physical body is his domicile, where the spirit and the real man lies. But the real you is the one looking through the window of the eyes. You must understand that God is a spirit. And when he created your human spirit, he created it so that he can communicate and relate with your spirit, not with your mind. That's why many religions and many people in the world claim to know God, but none of them can talk or understand God. You, however, are not a body. You're a spirit being. Your senses cannot contact God because your senses are of the flesh. You don't believe with your mind. You only reason in your mind. Believing comes from your spirit. You must understand that since God is a spirit, the only way to communicate and worship him is through spiritual principles. The same way to communicate with a human being, you must have a human flesh. The spirit always comes first, then the soul is second, then the physical body is third. Your spirit was created by God to know his voice. Every human spirit has the ability to believe. Believing is from your spirit. You only affirm with your mouth. Now, when God communicates with us, he talks to our spirit. So if you're not trained in the spirit, you can never hear nor understand God. You see, when your spirit is trained, it can detect when God is talking and what God is saying. Your spirit can detect circumstances around. You must acknowledge that everything that happens in the spirit must happen physically, because the spirit is the one that manifests in the physical world. You see, God's nature is spirit, and when you become a reborn person and you have his spirit, you can now be connected to him and communicate with him. The human heart is synonymous with the human spirit, and you must take note that God's instructions are usually spiritual and are usually contrary to the human understanding or reasoning. Just as you have your spirit in your human body, you must be aware that in the spirit realm, there are other entities of the spirit that exist. Yes, other spiritual entities exist in the spiritual realm. But the only one spirit of truth and purest spirit is the Spirit of God, and it's called the Holy Spirit. Now, other spirits exist, but they are called rebellious spirits. Why are they rebellious? Because they don't carry love, they don't carry truth. Do you know that disease, natural disaster, depression, fear are all spirits? They're spirits that when they come into your environment or your force field, they give you that feeling and you think it's from you. It's not. It's a spirit. Meanwhile, the spirits of wisdom, love, revelation, happiness, and all good things only comes from the Spirit of God. That's why you can only get goodness of your spirit when you're connected to God, not to other spirits or other religions. That is why it is very important for you to know where you're spiritually connected to. Where is your spirit connected to? You cannot be in the middle. Your spirit must either be right or left, even if you don't know. That's why you need to be reborn. Now, all spiritual entities need your faith to function. Without your faith, they cannot function. Your faith can be connected to the spirits through your words or through your actions. Angels are also spiritual beings, and so are demons. They are all spiritual entities that exist in the spiritual realm. That is why, as a born again who has been reborn and been given the Spirit of God, you now have the ability to rebuke spirits. Yes, you can rebuke negative and rebellious spirits in the name of the Creator Christ. That ability is only in your spirit, not in your physical being. Your body isn't the real you. When God looks at you, He doesn't see you. He sees your spirit. Your spirit and its nature expresses who you are. Whoever you are on the inside only expresses itself on the outside. The spirit is the real you. The spirit is the one controlling this body. The spirit is the one seeing through the eyes. Do not confuse your spirit and your soul and your body. The spirit is the real identity of you. The spirit has no gender. That's why when God looks at you, He just sees your spirit. He doesn't see a man or a woman. And your soul is different. Your soul is the one that houses your reasoning, your mind, your intellect. That's from your soul. And then your physical body is the one that houses your senses. Don't mix them up. The most important is your spirit. Because everything that the body does and every expression the soul expresses is only from the spirit. Do not allow yourself to be spiritually asleep. Don't allow yourself to be spiritually ignorant. The spirit realm exists and it controls everything in your life. That's why in my video words I elaborated that every situation you're going through today, every situation you're facing has to be from your words. When you release words, you send spirits and signals to make things happen. So educate your spirit. Fill your spirit with knowledge. Train your spirit, and I'll show you your life will be smooth because you have supernatural abilities that no human being has. That's why you gotta educate your spirit. Thank you for this edition, and check right after the video. There's gonna be a description on what a spirit man looks like and how you can relate with your spirit. So follow me on my next few videos, subscribe, hit on the subscribe button, and learn so many principles that will make you a conqueror. Thank you.